Yeah, so I met Chris in 2004 when we were both deployed to Iraq. He was in the army, I was in the Air Force. I think we had what we both thought was a detachment romance. Obviously, turned out to be a little bit more, and we got married in the July of 2006. Actually, on the day that Portugal knocked England out of the World Cup. So yeah, we were happy. Chris already suffered quite badly with mental health issues from sort of Northern Ireland, Bosnia. But he used to talk to me, and we would discuss everything. 2008, Jamie arrived out of the blue, and I was permanently downgraded after being injured in Iraq in 2007. And one day Chris came home and said that he was posted to Germany. So I was very lucky and got a short notice release so we could move out there as a family. Things progressed nicely. We enjoyed actually all living together for a change, which was novel. And then in 2011, Chris deployed for the second time to Afghan, and that's when things really took a change. I noticed while he was deployed, he was pulling away from me quite a lot, but I didn't know what was up until he came home. He saw Jamie. Jay ran across the parade square to greet him off the coach. Chris had a massive smile on his face, but when you looked in the eyes were dead. And I knew from that moment on that life was going to change. I didn't quite know to what extent it would. Behind closed doors, he was a completely different person to what he was sort of out in public. Everyone else still saw the funny Chris, cheeky Chris, always had a smile on his face. For me, the grip was tighter on my arm when we were out. The looks were a bit more not loving, shall we say. Behind closed doors, he was drinking a lot, massively. He was gambling money that we didn't have. The red mist would take over. So if I said something that he took the wrong way, he was both physically and mentally abusive towards me. But I stayed because I loved him and I knew he was ill. When he took redundancy in 2013, I think we both thought it was a fresh start for us. We could start anew, and actually have a normal family life, which you don't necessarily have in the military. So we settled, but one night he was physically abusive to me, and Jamie saw, and I wasn't willing to live that life anymore, and I wasn't willing to have Jamie live that life. So I made the decision for us to move back to Suffolk with my parents. It's very important that people know that I left Chris because of my mental health being in a decline, not because I didn't love him, because I did, and I still do to this day. And 2019, Chris tragically took his own life, leaving me to tell Jamie at 8 years old that his hero was gone.
Well, from what I remember, he always used to try have fun with me. We used to have like our own certain nights, like every week pretty much, where it was just us playing games, having our mum as a little chef, and it was just all the random things like putting me in a trolley and going down big ramps with him, just having fun like a father and son should.
Well, Jamie is amazing, and even from the age of 8, he taught me so many lessons. I've always been honest with him about how Chris died, not necessarily telling him finer details, which he didn't need to know and still doesn't need to know. But he taught me so much about my emotions. I didn't want to show Jamie that I was upset or that I was grieving. But then I noticed that he'd stopped crying. And I think because I wasn't, he thought it was normal not to cry. So he's taught me to show my emotions. And I think we've helped each other through it. I mean, it seems silly little things. I wouldn't watch Chris's favourite film, but Jamie wanted to watch it. So he watched it belly laughing and I was crying. But now, it's fine to watch things like that. It's normal. But Jamie really is the inspiration in all of this. He decided, because we'd been helped by the Armed Forces charity SSAFA, he wanted to give something back. So he said to me, he just wanted to arrange a fun day. Very small, not many people there. But Jamie being Jamie, it went massive. He was on the radio, he was on TV, and he raised nearly £7,000 in the first event. But since then he's gone on, he's raised over £30,000. And it's, and he put himself out there. He took part in a suicide prevention video with the army, which went viral on YouTube. And he's shown people that you can go through bad things, but you can overcome hurdles. So you can clear every single one. And, he makes me proud every single day. But I think without the support around us of my family, friends, the veterans community especially, they've been right beside both of us for everything. But most importantly, we've come through it because we've had each other.
Scotty's they've done wonders, and they do wonders for all the kids that feel and know how it is to lose a parent that's served, because I used to think I was the only one, and everyone's saying, I understand how you feel, and you're like, you don't really. But with Scotty's, when someone says, I know how you feel, and I've been through the same as you, you can actually believe them, because you know what they've gone through as well.
Yeah, our caseworker, so she was great. The whole team at SSAFA were great. They were strong for me so that I could be strong for Jamie. And that was so important. And for me, they didn't judge Chris because there's so much stigma attached to suicide. And they treated me as Mandy, not Jamie's mum, not Chris's widow. And that was huge. I mean, obviously I work for them now, but that doesn't take away the fact that they still support us if we need it.
So I made a suicide prevention video with the army, and that was about 4 years ago now, and that went a lot bigger than I thought it was going to. I've been on the TV, radio multiple times talking about my personal story, all the fundraising I've been doing, and just everything overall.
I find it so therapeutic knowing that I'm helping others, and through my work I'm able to go out and do some public speaking about our story, which is my way of making sure Chris is not forgotten. And I think if we help one other person, his death wasn't in vain.
So I made some V75 t-shirts, did some poppy drawings, did a fun day, so my first one, which got about £7,000, and a football match where it was a bunch of pretty much kids and adults against a semi-professional England Vans team who got hammered by the kids.
But my official role within SSAFA, so I fundraise for the regional hubs in each region just to keep them going, which means that the help is out there for the veterans community and serving community. It means they only have to tell their story once, and it means that they get help. And for me, that makes the long hours, all the meetings, well worth it.
I'd love to be a chef like my dad, because from such a young age I was watching him cook, I was helping, doing little things, and it was like, I love cooking and I love trying out new things, because I'll just experiment different things, and it's like, well, this works well, so what can I use this with? And I just love cooking.